And we are back with another round of breaking news. And this week it's a little bit something serious. PlayStation, according to insiders and reliable sources, PlayStation's having cold feet. They are thinking of reneging on putting their exclusives on PC. Not only just the day and date, but entirely at all. Strategy seems to be backfiring and PlayStation is not making much money by putting their games on PC. Live service games will remain to be day and date. The House of Blue, they're just saying, you know what? It's not you, it's us. And they're backing out. Trice, how do you feel about this? What do you take from this quote unquote rumor, possibly true?
Yeah, so all of this is just allegedly. Nothing has been confirmed. No public announcement from Sony or PlayStation department. So it's just I think the timing of the Steam hardware announcement and how powerful the market is for Steam, and we're going to talk about that later in other episodes. But I just think that they're kind of trying to keep the status quo, and they've been about, hey, we're a console first. We still believe in exclusive. Only one that believes in exclusives more than Sony is Nintendo. So they've been very much consistent in their messaging, and I think that as they see Steam growing, a lot of steam, no pun intended, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Nah, I think they're looking at them as getting a little too powerful. Like they was a little kid on the playground, now they becoming the big kids on the playground. And like you said, it's mainly just their exclusives. So like stuff like Helldivers and all that other type of stuff, that would still, go on PC. But as far as PlayStation exclusive, we're used to seeing them come a year and a half later. And now they're saying, no, we won't come at all. I just think it's more in line with their original message. Hey, we're not supporting anything but our consoles first. And now they're saying, even on the back end, we don't care about that money because obviously it's not that much money they're bringing in when they port their stuff over to PC. So they like, no. So why would we even bring you any customers? We're going to keep everything exclusive. I think it's kind of just in line with the whole PlayStation messaging that they've been on the last 2 generations of consoles. So I'm not really phased. Mind you, I have a PlayStation. Now for users, this could be a very much slap in the face because they might not ever see PlayStation exclusives again. The restrictions, they'll be the ones that's more affected than anybody, because they're accustomed to it eventually coming. While I have a PlayStation show, but I just think this is more aligned. I told you something's coming. Everybody's buckling down on finances, so this is kind of not shocking. But apparently it's shocking to some people. But in a vacuum, I just think they're saying, hey, we're not supporting nothing else. We're going to focus about our own thing first. We want all our attention on our shit. We're not bringing attention to X, Y, and Z. We're worried about our shit first. Hey, I ain't mad at it, but then again, I have a PlayStation and I don't play on PC. So that's my, biased opinion, I guess you could say.
Okay. Let the record state that Trice and I, Infamous, we do both own PlayStations. I want to hear shit like, oh, how can you say that? And you chill out, chill out, chill out. But it's interesting that you do bring up a good point about the finances because last I've checked, last year, Sony only really brought in about 300 million from putting their exclusives on Steam.
And that's not
Now,
really a
I
lot.
think, and that's not a lot. And I want to go ahead and clarify this before anybody wants to jump in there, the comments and start screaming. That is just the gross number product. That is not profits or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that number could be significantly even less once you break down expenses and everything else. But hearing you bring that up, the finances and everything, that does make a lot of sense because there's no telling how much money is being truly spent taking these specific games built from the ground up for PlayStation and then converting them over to PC.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation bought a whole studio specifically just for porting games over
Mm.
to PC.
Oh, I didn't know
So I
that.
find that, oh yes, yeah. And when they purchased them, that company had made a statement like, yo, we have no plans on wanting to work on original IP or do so. We are all about porting.
How
That's
you
what we're here
how
for.
you gonna tell
And I
that to
have
the
to
people
say
that
that
bought
because,
you?
well, I say that because there was another company they bought, Bluepoint, for remakes and remasters And after they
Mhm.
got bought, they're like, yeah, we'd love to work on some original. It's like, hey, thank what I bought you for. Also, what you were saying about this affects PC the most, to some degree, yes. And to some degree, I kind of feel PC probably just don't give a shit. The reason Sony went with the initiative of putting their games on PC, but with a delay reaction, was because somewhere in the corporate office, some exec was like, hey, look here. There are certain PC people that are never going to buy a PlayStation. There's no convincing them in any way, shape, or form after they spent $2,000 to $6,000 on their rig, getting it exactly how they want. They're not going to buy a
Mhm.
PlayStation to play games.
No,
So they're like,
no,
you
it
know,
doesn't.
we'll
No.
what we do, and we'll just have a delay reaction and put it on there. But if the finances are to show, PC players are just like, hey, this is nice to have this, but I'll get to it if I feel like it. And evidently, they must not just be getting to it. I can understand it how they're like, between what you said, costs, finances, and stuff going on, there's a lot of buckling down. And it's across the board. Everybody, whether you are a biased gamer or entertainer, everyone is counting those ducats just a little bit harder.
Mhm.
And to hear this, because when PlayStation went all in on PC, I was like, why? Once again, not to be biased, but PlayStation and Nintendo, their core identity is consoles, the traditional model of them, and exclusives. And to get you to play in our wheelhouse, we attract you with something you cannot get and or play anywhere else. All right, I get that. Now, before we wrap this up, me and my co-host Trice, we talked about this, and I have a little tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. In the last coming weeks, we've reported about the next, quote-unquote, next-gen Xbox, codename Magnus, and it is supposed to be a high premium, a box that will join console and PC together, even multiple storefronts on it. And the ROG Xbox Ally X, that is a mouthful. It has to be a shorter way to say that. You can play PC games on it. It is a PC handheld with just Xbox marketing. And you have biased Xbox fans who are like, oh, well, we don't need to ever buy a PlayStation anymore. When the next Xbox will, in its sense, be a PC, and PC games can play Xbox. Now, also, as my co-host said, the Steam Machine was announced. We'll get to that later. Steam Machine is bringing a console-like experience, but a PC. I can see Sony taking a look back and say, hey, we might need to rethink how these recent decisions, the more choices you give someone to not buy a product, more likely they'll take those different chances of not buying said product. Now, like I said, this is just a conspiracy theory, just something that rode around in the little mind of Infamous, but it is interesting to see them backpedal after these few years. But we won't hold on to this. What do you all think? Let us know in the comments below. Share your thoughts. How do you feel? Are you happy PlayStation is going, possibly, allegedly, make sure I add that, going back in-house? Or do you feel like, hey, this is all horse malarkey, and the more product everywhere and the options people have, the better? Trace, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I just want to leave off with PlayStation Studio head Herman. He did make an official statement that a lot of people are highlighting now. His official quote is, "It's important to realize that we're really thoughtful about bringing our franchises off console to reach new audience, and that we're taking a very measured, very deliberate approach in doing that." I think that emphasized everything that we just said. He added that consoles remain the main point of interest for the company, and that they want PC ports to show performance and quality, but also benefit the company at the end of the day. And some PC gamers and commentators believe that linking PC games to the PlayStation Network accounts, restricting regions, and delaying PC ports suggests Sony is prioritizing the console's ecosystem over the PC, which, yes, they will protect their bottom line at the end of the day. A lot of PCs are quoting that the controversy around Helldivers 2 that require PC and login for PC players, which caused a lot of backlash. And that's another reason why he also said, we're going to just focus on our product and not deal with all this other stuff that comes with porting over to the PC. So, I mean, it's really not allegedly now. I mean, the man said it. The head of PlayStation Studios said, we're just going to focus on what we do. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I mean, like you said, everybody's focusing on their own. They buckling down. So I mean, they're right in line with their statement and kind of what they've always done in the past. So I don't
Yeah.
see no lies. They've been very consistent.
Absolutely. You reminded me of something, and this happened about, I think, last week. We didn't report on it because it wasn't really significant, but hearing you bring that up, there was a piece of news on the back end. I can't remember what title it was. One benefit of PC gaming is you can data mine PC games. You can look into the
Hmm.
coding and see files and
Yeah,
things
you
you
can be
cannot
real
see in a normal
nosy.
console game. Yeah, you can get real CNN on some things you ain't supposed to. But I do remember a story circulating that people were suggesting PlayStation was looking into or prepping to have a PlayStation launcher in a sense. They found coding and evidence of cross-buy feature. Anyone familiar with PlayStation, beginning back in PS3, it used to be you bought a PS3 digital game, you get the PS3 and the Vita version for it. And they still have that going now. You could buy a PS4 game and get the PS4 and PS5 version of it. What they found was the logo for a PS5 slash PC cross
Mm,
buy, meaning you buy the game on PlayStation, you also got the PC version
mm,
for it.
mm,
And going by what you said with the Helldiver situation, and I will admit, the Japanese giants, Nintendo and Sony, they just have the worst when it comes to internet and PC going. They just really do. But one of the major backlashes of Sony's PC initiative was them wanting a login or you need to have a PlayStation account in order to play these games on PC. The
mm,
backlash and the pushback of that was so immense. They walked that back
mm.
significantly. I believe it was after God of War Ragnarok. I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure someone will, of course, correct me. But hearing you say that now, it makes me feel like, oh, well, what is the point of a cross-buy initiative if you're pulling back from
Mhm.
PC? You know, that does raise eyebrows. Was this something going in motion and you're stopping it before it got full steam? Or, like you said, hard times are coming. And someone at the top, possibly the new CEO, was like, hey, we don't have the funds to stretch our initiative across multiple. We
Yeah.
focus on the House of P and we go from there.
Mhm.
So I'm going to end off with that. But what do you all think of me and my co hosts' opinions, the news, etc.? Please do share and let us know. This is a very hot, interesting topic, allegedly. I make sure I say
I don't
that.
think it's alleged. The mofo said it.
Oh, he,
He's
he did.
quoted.
He did, but you know, in today's age, the internet never forgets.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
forgets.
yeah.
Someone be like, "You're infamous. You said it at 3 minutes and 46 seconds. You said it." I like to cover my own anus. And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?